I don't know about you, but I was starting to get bored with fixing previous week's problems.
Does it? I have had enough!
So this week, I'm pleased to say we were able to make progress. It was in fact time to decide what to do with the lower front part of the wings. But before we could design anything, I decided that I needed a blank canvas to work from. This involved using my fancy new laser level so I could draw a consistent line across both wings. With that done, it was out with the angle grinder and voila! Right, time to decide what to do next. It was quite clear to me from looking at the truncated wings that they needed to be deeper. Unfortunately, fiberglass really doesn't stick to thin air, so it was necessary to make something to be able to mould the rest of the wing over. In this case, I started by cutting off a thin strip of aluminium, or, as my American friends would call it, aluminum.
Ooh, so now.
With this done, I was then able to clamp it to the lower edge of the wing in preparation for applying the fiberglass. And that will do nicely. Right, time to get sticky. Talking about sticky things, obviously one of the best things about fiberglass is that it will bond extremely well to itself. However, one of the more surprising things is that actually there are many things it won't bond to at all. We've talked previously about the magic properties of duct tape and the fact that fiberglass doesn't stick to it, but fiberglass will also not stick to shiny metal. So all I needed to do in this case, after the fiberglass had set, was to squeeze in a sharp blade screwdriver behind the aluminium and it popped right off. Finally, with a quick tidy up from the angle grinder, the wings were then ready to go back on the car. However, I could now see that the wings weren't quite even at the bottom, so it was back out with the laser level, the angle grinder, and things were soon straight and level. With the wings straight and even at the bottom, I was able to stand back and take a good look at them, and started to think that they looked just a bit, well, boring.
Good grief, it gets worse and worse.
So at this point, I guessed I had two choices. I could either put a simple radius on the bottom of the wing, or, alternatively, try something just a little more interesting. And if you've watched any of the other videos in this series, hopefully by now you'll start to understand that I like interesting. So what I decided to do was mould in an extra bulge at the bottom of the wing that would in some cases, and if you stood far enough away, and perhaps squinted, look a bit like a front splitter. In order to make this from fiberglass, as you've seen from the rest of this video, I need something to be able to mould it around. And in this case, having hunted around the garage, I found some pipe insulation material. This was of exactly the correct radius that I was looking for, and already came pre-split so I could simply slide it onto the bottom of the wing. With that done, it was simply a case of applying the usual duct tape and then let the fiberglassing begin. With that done, I was able to peel the fiberglass off the car, clean it up a bit, reassemble the wing back onto the car, and then clamp it all back together to see what it looked like. Overall, I think I like it. It's definitely more interesting than the other side, and I think better than just adding the simple radius. The only question was going to be how to attach it to the wing in such a way that I wouldn't see the seam, and the simple solution was going to be that I was going to have to repeat the whole process over again, but this time mould the bulge directly onto the wing. So next time we take it all apart and we do it all over again.
I knew I shouldn't have eaten those radishes.